Hello everybody and welcome to Decoding the WSL, the podcast dedicated to the stats and facts in the WSL. Game week 8 is over and we're now looking at my team of the week. I'm going to be going through each player one by one and giving you a reason as to why I think they deserve a place in my team of the week. I'm your host, Sam Biccarino. Yes, welcome listener. Thank you for joining me this evening or this morning or this afternoon, whenever you are listening to this pod. My team of the week is out. I've put it out on socials. Go have a look at it. Follow along while you're listening if you like, but I will speak about each player individually as we go. So I'm going to start off with Courtney Brosnan in goal this week. She is a player that, let's be frank, kept Everton within this game. Liverpool had a lot of good chances. They probably should have scored at least one, if not two goals this week. But Courtney Brosnan's heroics, especially think of that chance against Fuka Nagano where she had a brilliant double save to make, I think meant that she deserved a place in the team of the week this week. She faced 1.5 post-shot XG, so that's her XG faced adjusted for shots on target only, and still managed to keep a clean sheet. I don't think any other keeper had a performance like that, so she was an easy pick for my first one in the team of the week. Then, on to a back four. We're playing a 4-4-3 formation. On my left back is Sarah Hongard. I think she's another player that, alongside Brosnan, put in a really good defensive performance for Everton this week. I think she did really well at putting in some big blocks that prevented Brosnan from needing to make a save. So she deserved a place at left back. I've put her in my team of the week. The centre-back partnership is starting off with Anna Patton at left centre-back. She was obviously a player that conceded a couple of goals this week, so she's not like a player that's keeping a clean sheet at centre-back, but she's still in the team of the week because I thought she did quite well defensively actually throughout the game. There wasn't really much that was her fault that went wrong, and she obviously got on the score sheet early on to get Aston Villa running in this game with a really good finish. The sort of thing that I think elite strikers would be happy with, that you would expect them to do, but this is a centre-back at a, let's be honest, at the moment, lower end of the table club, putting in a performance like that and scoring a goal like that. Yeah, I thought she was a kind of an easy choice to go my team of the week. For the second week running and the third time this season, she's definitely a player having a good season so far. Alongside her, I've got Rachel McLaughlin because she got 2 goal involvements in this game, which is not something that you would expect from any centre-back. Obviously, Anna Patton was one that got up there this week, but Rachel McLaughlin scored a really good goal to start with. There was that little Kirby flick, but there was also a really nice assist in there as well. Getting into the right areas, threatening West Ham as she did so, and still, putting in a good defensive performance as well, even though West Ham scored twice. Let's not forget that neither of those goals were really anything that the defence did wrong. They were just strikes from distance. So Rachel McLaughlin is in at centre-back. And then my right back this week is Lucy Bronze. She was obviously keeping a clean sheet against her former side, Man City, for Chelsea in that 2-0 win at the top of the table. She's been very good this season so far, as you would probably expect. She was, I think it's widely publicised, she was Sonia Bonpastor's number 1 target over the summer. And yeah, a great choice it was. She put in a great performance in this game as well. She had to do a bit more defensive work, I think, than she normally would, even though there was no Lauren Hemp to defend against. But she also, as well as her defensive work, I thought she did well going forward as well and deserved her place. Now, the midfield 3, I'm going with at left mid, or sort of left of the 3, is Erin Cuthbert, also winning for Chelsea against Man City. She's not necessarily someone that I spoke about much in the main pod, if you've already listened to that, but she is someone that I thought really passed the eye test. It was a close call between her and Mike Hamano. Obviously, Hamano basically shut Yui Hasagara out for the full game. But Erin Cuthbert, for me, with her work rate, with her sort of general all-round play, was the player that I just about wanted to give that to. So she's got a place in the midfield alongside 2 players that played against each other this week. The first of which I'm going to go for is Gorry. I think she was trying to be basically a one-man team, as she kind of often does at West Ham. I do think she is definitely their best player, and I think without her, they would be really, really struggling. So Gorry, as you might know if you've already watched highlights or if you've listened to my review pod, she had 3 shots in this game. The first one hit the bar. The second one, she scored with a first-time shot from about 25, 30 yards out. And then her third shot was just outside the box and also was a goal. So she basically was just one of those like, no, I'm Gorry, I'm going to hit this and it is going to go in. So when you've got 2 goals from one player at a club, even though they're losing the game, I do think it's an easy choice to put them in. And then, as I've mentioned, there is another player alongside her from the same game. It is Fran Kirby. And Fran Kirby is my player of the week this week. She assisted the opener against West Ham with a really nice flick into Rachel McLaughlin. And she also scored the winner with a really composed finish. Kiko Seike passing it to her around the P spot. She kind of faked a shot, took it round and placed it in the sort of near bottom corner. And nothing that King Hashemit could really do about it. I thought, that shot off the post and in was a really elite finish from Fran Kirby. She still is a really elite player, even though she's not at Chelsea anymore, at an elite club, you would say. But she's a large part of the reason that Brighton is so high up the table and continuing to do what they do. This game was one where, without her input, without her assist, and without her goal, Brighton would have lost. So I think her all-round play, as well as those moments, mean that she deserves a place in the team of the week and, as I mentioned, is my player of the week. Now, the front 3. I'm going to go right to left on this one because I'm going to go with Slim Bazette first. It was a player that I think if you just went by the eye test, you'd be picking JC on this game because she was excellent to watch. She was really entertaining, but I do think Slim Bazette was sort of more productive throughout the game. Bazette had a really good chance not long before she ended up scoring her goal, and her general all-round play, she was taking players on, she was putting in some really good sort of like creativity play, whether it's her dribbling or her passing. So Slim Bazette was one that I thought definitely deserved a place for, I think maybe alongside Patton, a record 3rd Stattorino team of the week. In the middle, I've gone for Mayra Ramirez. She didn't light it up too much throughout most of the game. It was obviously a relatively boring first half in the Chelsea City game, but the second half is where she really lit up and where she did really well for that Chelsea goal. I spoke about it a bit more in the main pod, but she basically bullied Alana Kennedy, and then Alex Greenwood did what she could, but was a bit too scared to get a bit close to Ramirez. So although Ramirez didn't quite get into the box, she just struck it with precision, with a bit of power as well, from outside the box, and sort of past the Man City goalkeeper. Yeah, Yamashita was a little bit helpless, I guess, with this. As much as her and Alex Greenwood did what they could, obviously Alana Kennedy tried to, but just didn't quite have the strength. Ramirez was just there, being like, you know what, I am going to score this goal. She had 2 shots within the game, only had 0.1 xG between them, but still managed to get a really nice finish. She had a few shot-creating actions within the game, did a lot of carrying, and overall I think deserved a spot. And that is alongside the final player in the team this week, and that is Kirsty Hansen. I've already spoken a little bit on the review pod about how good she was. She had the 2nd most shots on target in the game, the 2nd most tackles. She had the 5th most touches, which for a winger is very rare. She had the most key passes, the most dribbles completed, and just whenever she got the ball, seemed like a threat. She was worrying Crystal Palace from the out. And although Crystal Palace did well in this game, I think Kirsty Hansen was probably the player of the match in that game and deserving of the left wing spot in my team of the week. So there we are. That is the full team of the week now. I'll just do a little recap. There was Courtney Brosnan in goal. We had from left to right at the back, Sarah Holmgard, Anna Patton, Rachel McLaughlin and Lucy Bronze. A midfield 3 of Erin Cuthbert, Gorry and Fran Kirby. And then a front 3 of Hansen on the left, Bizette on the right, although I do know she played on the left in the game, and Mayra Ramirez up top. Hopefully, you agree with most of those picks, but I know there were some other players that kind of deserved a space as well, but there are only so many players that I can give a spot to. I thought Ebony Salmon was great when she came on. She obviously scored a world-class goal. Guro Wrighton did really well. Micah Hamano was probably closest to getting in. Frida Marnham and Leah Williamson were other players that were sort of close to being able to get a spot. But that is the 11 I've gone for. Let me know if there are any other players that you think should be involved. And go check out my socials, because I've asked you on there as well who you think your player of the week was. I've gone for Fran Kirby. I know from checking on Instagram not long ago, most people have gone for Katrina Gorry. But yeah, have a look. Let me know what you think. And that's all from me today. Once again, thank you for tuning in to Decoding the WSL. If you enjoyed the episode, do follow and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. I'm sure you've heard this little spiel at the end of the main pod, so I'm not going to give you it all now, but don't forget to follow me on obviously X and Instagram at Stattorino, as you may already do, but also now on Blue Sky, the new app that everyone's getting on. And to be honest, I think it's quite good, so would recommend it. And as ever, if you want to get in touch, just drop me an email or message me on socials, either DM or at me. And yeah, I love to hear your thoughts and questions that you have, or even any podcast ideas as well. But yeah, thank you again for listening, listener. Thank you for joining me, and I will speak to you at the next one.